That full stack will consider Angular or React and database and the whole core Java concept, which will be consider all the core concept with some of the basics of a Spring Boot or a Spring Framework also. So here, if I'll go for the core Java concepts, so these all are the point which will be covered like uh, Java, what is Java, when to use Java, why we are using Java. So mostly here we will train for the Java only. For the backend is a Java, and then database which will be some basic for this like SQL and all, and UI will have a Angular and React. So in the core Java, these all are the content which will be covered. One is started Java, then introductions of object and OOPS concept, and then we have a static object, a scope and garbage collection package, and then primitive syntax, strings, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstract class and interface. So these all are related for OOPS concept, which will be cover API, that is abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation, and these all. So these all are the basics which I have covered in the core concept of Java. Now after that we will consider some of the lambda expressions which will be have a Java 8 experience. So Java 8 is a features of Java where they introduce lambda, functional interface, and others many optionals and all. So why we are using Java 8? Suppose if you'll go for the Spring Boot or a Spring related features or a framework, in that cases mostly we are using Java 8. So before Java 8, we need a Java 7 or Java core concept. So the core concept which will be cover all the core concept related for object oriented concept, and then we will go for the lambda. So lambda will have a lambda interface function, additional functions, a stream, API and all. We have a parallel streams, advanced and stream common operations and all. Then after that in Java 8 also have a features like a date time and all that also will be considered with the Java core Java concept also and Java 8 also. Then we have array collection. So that collection is also very popular things which is a framework which need to be used in all the real time experience. So while we go for this any type of development, so there we are using collection concept, either array, list, hash set, map, tree map, and all. So all the collections related we will discuss, and after that, suppose if any exceptions and all will be generated in this applications or backend while we are creating, so that exception handling, how we will handle the exception, what all are the ways to handle, how we will create a custom exceptions and all, that we will declare in this discuss in this exception handling and all. So these all are related for basic of core Java. If we'll go for this full stack with Java, here we will consider like some JavaScript, TypeScript, Angular based on this requirement, and then Angular or React, and then we have some web service which will be considered. Suppose we have a three layer of architecture. So while if any company or any client will tell like we need a project, we need to create a project which will have a employee information, so that we have to add the employee detail that will be saved in the database. If I want to fetch the employee detail, so that it will be communicate with the database, and then it will be redirect to the other portal to show the details. So for that we need a three tier of architectures. First will be have a UI, so that UI will add the page, then it will be communicated through the backend. So backend, any type of language will be there. Either maybe Java, either maybe .NET, either maybe any scripting Pythons or anything. So that language here we are using Java as a backend. UI will have a Angular or React, and then while we communicating with the database, we'll have a Hibernate, JPA, and all through to connect. But if you want to come show the details from one network to another network, or we have a multiples API which need to be communicate from one to another, in that cases we will use a REST. So REST is used for the representational state transfer protocol, which will be send the data from one network to another network, one client to another client or one API to another API. So we will consider here a Spring Boot. So a Spring Boot is a features which came from the Spring framework. So a Spring is a framework where we have a Spring Boot terms came, and there we will use how we will create a simple project which will be consider employee informations or library management or any type of data by using by using help of React, Spring Boot, REST API and database. So these things we will consider here. And then while we create any type of application, real time application, in that we will have to authenticate, like, so we need to enable security, we need to enable transaction, we need to communicate with different database, we so these things. So while we enable the security, we have a JWT here. So JWT is a Java web tokens will be there, so that JSON web tokens, so that will be provided by this. So one if our applications will be the secures based on the tokens authentications and all. And then JPA here, so JPA and Hibernate will be used for the communicate with the database. So mostly before was the JDBC in core concept. If we'll go for the core Java concept, there we have a JDBC communications was there that communicate with the database. Now Hibernate and JPA came, so this is the features. JPA is a specifications which need to be used in a Spring Boot project. Suppose if you'll go for the Spring Boot, so a Spring Boot and a Spring REST and all is the advance of Java. Core concept will have a oops concept and all, but in advance we will go for the Spring Boot, REST and all. So that will be considered as a backend development. So here we need to secure the applications. We need to maintain the transactions. Suppose if you are creating or developing any application, so what are other things we have to mention? So how the what will be the UI, how interface will show to the client. Once users will or client will enter the details, and they will submit the details, so that redirect to the backend page. So how backend will work and wrap this data, and they send it to the database or somewhere others network, and they will get some information. So that type of informations or application we need to create. So how we will create? Based on the Spring Boot microservices REST and all. Once we create it, then how we will question is how we will secure that application. So for this security, we need a Spring security. Suppose if you are fetching the details, so that details will come from the database, right? So how we will fetch the details, and how we can maintain the transaction. Sometimes transactions will fail, transactions will aborted and all. So for that we have a Spring transactions. All are the modules are there for the all the separate details. Like security, we have a Spring security. Transaction, we have a Spring transactions. For the communications, we have a Spring RESTful services. For the database, we have a JPA or Hibernate that will be communicate. So these things we will use, and then we will understand the Node, Bootstrap, and React, because this is a part of full stack Java. So in that full stack, we will consider UI, backend with REST, and also database. So that database will have a any type of database, either Oracle or Mongo. So mostly here we will consider relational database as a Oracle or SQL. And then we will do this some of the like live real time examples, how we will create our applications. And then this Angular setups, basic details of Angular, and then React, Bootstrap, Node.js and all. So these all are the curriculum which will be considered for this training. So you have any doubt regarding that? Either which one you want to go, core concept or full stack? Hello.
Yeah, I will prefer like full stack because last time also trainer started core Java concepts only, and he covered most of them.
Okay. So everyone is looking for this same full stack.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then what we'll go for this full stack only, full stack with Java. So the same thing. You have any doubt regarding this? What all are the things we need to cover, or any missing items in that?
Yeah, what about like front end technologies like React or Angular? Only one you can prefer, or you need to prefer both of them?
Mostly we will prefer Angular. We will give some basic understanding for the React. If you want
Okay.
a React, then we will go for this React and basic understanding for Angular, because I think this will be this training will consider 1.5 or 1 month approx, I think. So in that we need to
Okay.
cover all those things. So any one of we can go either Angular or React, and others we will give some basic or overview.
Go with Angular and introduction of React.
Yeah.
Okay, so Angular will go for the UI, and then Java core concept will be there, and after that we'll have a Spring Boot. So a Spring Boot is a Spring is a framework where a Spring Boot is features and concept is there. So that a Spring Boot with REST we will go as a backend, Java with a Spring Boot REST and all. And then here, while we develop any application as a backend, there we will discuss security. So a Spring security, and then a Spring transactions we will give you some overview that is not mentioned here. And then how we will connect with the database, so that we have a three layer of data, three layer architectures, like one is UI, others is backend, and the next is database. So database will have a SQL or Oracle, and backend will have a Spring Boot, Java with a Spring Boot with REST, and a Spring security and all will be there. And Angular we will go through the Angular, and just basic of understanding for the React also. Any other question or any other topic which you are looking here? And mostly we will go for this real time experience, like what type of real time experience will be there, how we are creating project, what type of work will be there in the client, or in the requirement, what we need to do. So these things we will consider.
You can give us like some exercises also, then we can get to know like how to do and what to do kind of things.
Yeah, we will give you the exercise based on the topic, whatever the topic we will cover. After that we will give you some exercise also, and going for this real time experience, in that time also we will give you some real scenario where we will do some setups, and then give you exercise also, so that you can create CRUD applications. So simple CRUD applications like employee have informations, where we have to create employee informations. Then you have to delete the employee, create the employee, update the employee, like that. So that there will be some UI where all the tables details will come, employee table detail. There you have to delete. Once you will delete, then that information will be removed from this database. So how it will happen through the backend and all. So this type of examples also will show, and also will give the task on daily basis. So any other questions or any other topic which I have to cover?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
For learning full stack developer, we need to know the core Java. Is it
If you
basic?
know the core Java is fine, else full stack developer also will consider a Java with a Spring Boot microservice. So Java will consider core Java concept also, because most of the persons here have basic idea of backend.
Hmm.
So we will give some overview. If you know, that is fine. Then we will give you some overview of these all topic. So this is the core Java concept. So these all are the common topic which we will use in real time experience, like what is the oops concept, when to use a string, how we will use encapsulation, in inheritance, polymorphism, abstract interface and all. So these all are the common which I have collected, because every project we are using on daily basis this type of concept. And then these all lambda expressions and Java 8 features will be there, like interface, functional interface, and a stream API and all. Then we have a array, date, and collections is a very important topic, because collection framework we have a list, set, map, queue and all. So that things we are using on real time experience on daily basis. Many of the concept we will cover here, which we are using. And then handling the exceptions is a very priority of all the project. How, if any exceptions and errors will come, how we are handling and all. So that's why we will cover this topic as a core. Then we'll go for the Java framework. So a Spring with the Spring Boot, REST, and then we will go for this UI and database.
So mainly Java and CoJava, they are related to each other, not like a separate sub, like a React separate, Angular separate.
No, all Java, core Java is the same thing. Like core Java means basic of Java, and advanced Java means like advanced features like Spring Boot, these things. Here they mention like here a Spring Boot is there, na? So we have a advanced that will be considered a Spring Boot, REST and all. So we don't have any separate thing. If you are looking separate training for that, so only separate, there are two parties there. One is Java training, other is full stack training. So Java training will consider all the Java things, and full stack will consider three things: Java as a backend, and UI as a front end, either React, Angular, and then database will have a Oracle, SQL and all. So two parties there. Which one you like? I'll go for that.
I got it, yeah. So that's good as full stack.
Mhm. So full stack will consider all those things. Whatever is there in there, inside that, all those things will be considered. Any other doubt?
No, from my side.
Anyone? Anyone have?
No, they're good.
If not, then we will continue these sessions from Monday onwards, and that timing will be the same timing, and we'll continue from Monday to Friday. And this will be covered, I think, one month or 1.5 month will be covered all those things, whatever inside that. And whatever the topic we will discuss, these all will be real time scenarios and real time experience only. This is just a topic which I'll give you the some overview, and after that we'll go for the real time only. So how real time, like suppose if you all are freshers, so how you will do the work in the real time experience, suppose. So how, what all are the things we need to manage, and where the terminology will come, and what type of things in the project will be handled this topic. So based on the topic, why we are using package, why we are using encapsulation, where to use encapsulation, where we are handling the exceptions, why we are handling, for which purpose and all. So these all are real scenario we will provide you then, so that you will understand, and while you work on this real time experience, then you can understand and apply the same. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so can we close here?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, because we will consider from Monday onwards, from the day first class.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you,
Okay,
Fatima.
yeah, sure. Thank you all then.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.